Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you very much for joining me here. We're going to take a quick look here at Floki, and just before we do, just know I'm not a financial advisor. I've just been trading for over 15 years, and I'm very passionate about helping other people become better traders, right? So I have an actual trading community outside of this as well through Patreon. Check that out in your own time. And I do send out signals for every single trade that I take too. So if you'd like to follow along, you have that option. So one-click follow through the trading bot. It's a pretty cool situation. Check that out, of course, in your own time. Now looking at here at Floki, we can see a nice green candlestick here today. It almost looks like a bullish engulfing pattern there, but generally speaking, we do have a strong green day there. And there's not a lot in ways of the moving averages, by the way, because this is such a newer chart essentially that we don't have enough trading data for that. But what we can look at is some smaller time frames and identify. Not much to extract here. RSI's over 70. That's pretty standard on the one-day chart when the price increases like this. Now let's see, how much of an increase was that? 3 days in a row, 416%. Now, there's no coincidence that we saw a fourth day here, candlestick, red. So if you know anything about trading candles, we're looking at three white soldiers, what is referred to as when you got three consistent, strong, when I say strong, I mean like they're long like these ones here, one day candlestick closes. It can work on smaller time frames too, but for the most part, 1 day, 1 week. When we see three, the fourth day is always red. So had you picked up on that, you could have, sold and taken some profit before the price retraced. Anyways, just something to remember for future. Let's go ahead and look at the 4-hour chart and see what's going on. So the moving average 50 is here available. It basically is just kind of progressing with the price action up, effectively working as a support, but it hasn't truly been tested yet. The MACD just converged. That's a very good sign. That typically implies that we could see a push to the upside. And let's see, how long ago that was? That was basically just not so long ago, more recent than not. So let's go ahead and keep that on there because I want to look at the 1-hour chart and see if there's a correlation between that and the Ichimoku cloud. Somewhat, yeah, pretty close actually. The price is above the cloud, and of course we got a MACD convergence. Those two coalesce very well together. In other words, you see a MACD convergence on the 4-hour chart. Great, excellent signal for a buy position to go long. Second thing you look at is the Ichimoku cloud, price above the cloud, double rainbow, we're good to go. So we're looking good here in that sense. So we got two really strong bullish momentous indicators that could imply we might see a break to the upside or continuing to see a break to the upside, right? Because it's already kind of broken upwards, but we don't know how much higher it's going to go. So why don't we just go ahead and do this? Let's go ahead and mark some resistance levels, which there's pretty much only one major one here at about, well, I'll just say 32,000 as a round number. And then of course, we got the price kind of topping out right now, but that's really all we can, let's go ahead and pull up Fibonacci and see what other potential we have here as well, okay? We can see that the Fibonacci line is moving really close to the previous resistance there. So usually 1.414 is a pretty reliable resistance. So I would say 32,000 is a pretty strong resistance here. We also got a potential resistance here at about 29.2. Okay, so mark that guy as well. And in case the price were to retrace, we have some support levels here as well. Pretty strong support right at about 0.5, which is basically 25,600. And we'll just go ahead and draw out the major support level here. Okay, so now that we got kind of some of the major ones in place, we can kind of see the channels that it's working within, right? Got the lower channel, upper channel, potential breakout, and obviously all-time high territory. So in this scenario here, what we want to look at is a couple of things. We want to take a quick look at TD sequential and see if there's much going on there. Not exactly. We got a lot of consolidation, a lot of retracements, basically more so resets rather, because we got a 7, came up to a 7, reset up to a 5. For lack of better terms, when you see a 9, that basically means it's going to turn around and go the other direction. This one isn't doing that because we didn't really get there. So there's no market exhaustion, therefore more gas left in the tank, right? Floki could continue to pump. The next thing we're going to look at is the volume profile visible range. We'll just kind of take this most recent section here. We can see there's a pretty strong support level right here in the middle, which is right at about 26. We can round up and say 27,000. Okay. Now it's an important line because the fact that the most amount of volume in the last, how many days has this been? Last 5, 6 days, maybe 7. We've had a tremendous amount of volume at that point. So the price being above that is a good sign, right? Because that means people are willing to want to buy and add to their position instead of trying to effectively average down, right? So for lack of better terms, a really, really good sign. The price is above that level, okay? So really cool stuff there. So all in all, good stuff. We can also see it worked as a support level too. Big surprise, the price came down and bounced off. All right, so let's go ahead and see where we could be here. Better case scenario, if in fact the price were to continue to the upside and break the more recent resistance levels. And we'll go ahead and kind of see what that looks like. So better case scenario, we're going to see about 38,300, which is effectively about what? What kind of percent are we looking here? About a 30% increase as a strong potential. I say strong potential because this does have more bullish than bearish, indications here. Granted, something like this could retrace pretty significantly, right? There's no doubt in my mind that coins like this, they drop fast in most cases when they do, right? So you want to set good stop targets. Make sure you set your stop targets just below major support levels. So maybe 25,600 would be a good starting point in case the price were to come down. You would be out maybe 11%. But again, there's a risk to reward ratio. You got about a 30% gain as a potential there. So I think there's a strong return. But the key takeaway here is that we want to have the one-day candlestick close above specific lines, right? So here in about 30 minutes, we're going to see the one-day candlestick close and create a new candle. Right here, the price being underneath this resistance level, it's still considered a resistance, right? If it can break above there and close above, it's different. It's considered a support. Therefore, moving forward, we have a pretty strong support channel right here at about 27,000, which we've already reaffirmed is right where the volume profile range is, right? The volume profile visible range is telling us we have the most amount of volume there in the last week of trading. Therefore, in the next week, we could see an increase again, just to kind of reiterate, we could see an increase of upwards of about 38,000 as a strong potential. Okay, so that is my prediction here for, I'd say, within the next 2 to 4 weeks. And I'm saying loosely because even though this does have good bullish patterns, it's still one of those coins that pumped really hard and went sideways. So we don't know for a fact if it's going to take off again or not. But if it does, that would probably be the likely potential for the next leg up. Okay, it's not going to do, keep this in mind, this was a one-time thing here. You're not going to get 400% out of this coin again, right? The likelihood of that is extremely low. Again, 30% is a strong likelihood. So just keep that in mind. You're not going to make yourself rich here out of this. But if you already have a position open here, it wouldn't be terrible to consider adding to your position right now because we're above that support, and the likelihood of it going up is much higher than it going down, especially if we break this all-time high. We can break the all-time high of 32,000, then we're going to see some very special things. That's when you want to consider adding to your position. If we can close the one-day candlestick above 32,000, that'd be great. So either way, hope you found benefit here, and hope you learned a little thing or two along the way. If you didn't, that's okay too. Watch more of my videos. You'll get the general concept of my flow of how I analyze charts. I average about 85% success rate, and again, I share my signals with my trading community. So if you join that up, feel free to check that out in your own time. What's really cool about it, it's growing so fast that I inevitably will have to increase the price next month in December. So if you do start in November, you can lock in your rate for the entire time you have a membership. Again, check it out, see if you find benefit. All good either way. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for your time. We'll see you the next one. Take care.